Hi mamas, and welcome back to Workin' Mama. Today we're going to start a new series of videos called What's Going On with My Baby This Month. Weston just turned a couple weeks ago 13 months old, so that's what we're going to focus on today, and I'm going to share with you what is happening with him in his development in terms of any milestones that he's reached. I'm going to talk about a few different categories: eat, sleep, play, and any other miscellaneous things that might be important for you to know as well, especially if you'd like to know what to expect for your growing baby or toddler, as we are now in that phase as well. So the first category I want to talk about is eating. So Weston has been doing kind of a mix of baby-led weaning since, and kind of being spoon-fed as well a little bit here and there, since he started eating at 6 months old. So in terms of food, what he's eating right now is basically anything that we are having. So we just give him some of whatever we're making for ourselves for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. He's eating 3 meals a day, plus having a mid-morning snack in between breakfast and lunch, and probably 2 afternoon snacks as well. We try to consistently give him milk with every meal, whole milk, cow's milk specifically, and he loves it. He's drinking out of a straw, which he really likes to do. He does not do sippy cups. And we also are trying to get him to sip out of an open face cup as well. I showed you in a previous video that easy peasy cup. That's like a little tiny cup that's really great for a baby to hold in his own hands. So he has been practicing with that too, but he cannot do that on his own at this point. In terms of what he eats, he's actually not very picky, although he is definitely now becoming more selective than he ever has been. His favorite foods have always been fruits, but now it's almost like if there's fruit on the plate, he won't touch anything else, especially until that fruit is gone. So that's something that's going on with him. I have heard that kids go through all kinds of different phases in terms of what they like, don't like, will, refuse to touch, etc. And then it's going to continue to evolve, so I'll be sure to keep you updated. But we've been very lucky in that he has not turned away anything we have given him since he has started eating at 6 months old. So the next thing I want to talk about is sleeping. So Weston is still sleeping in his crib in his own room, and for a while now he has been doing that. And since he got out of his bassinet, he sleeps in a sleep sack right now, which is the Zippity Zip from the company Sleeping Baby, which he loves. I mean, it's like part of his bedtime routine. As soon as he gets zipped up in that, he is just instantly cuddly, snuggly, ready to go to bed, which is great. But we actually have and still do feed him a bottle every night. I still have some stored breast milk that we are warming up, and so right now we are ending his 13th month, and we are trying to wean him off of that bottle. So most, I think, places that you'll read recommend that baby not have a bottle after they're 12 months old. Our pediatrician said just make sure they're weaned by 18 months, especially if it's something that's, comforting for them as they are teething, which we're going to talk about later, because a lot of kids at this age are cutting molars, and it can be very painful. So having things that are comforting to them, like a pacifier or a bottle, things like that, you might not want to take away right away because they are in a lot of pain from teething a lot of the time. So he does take a pacifier to sleep. And he is currently doing 1 nap a day, sometimes 2, but we're trying to get him down to 1 because daycare will only give him 1 nap during the day now that he's a little older, and we're trying to keep that consistency for him. But he sleeps pretty much from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the most part, sometimes a little later on either end, and we're very lucky that he sleeps through the night and that all is well on that front. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is play. So what Weston is doing developmentally for play is he is very clearly understanding cause and effect. So he will press a button on one of his toys and expect and know what sound is going to come out. He has a little playhouse that he plays with that I'll probably do a video on later as well, where he knows that this is the button I play for the radio to come on, and it'll play a bunch of different songs, and he will literally press it over and over and over again to hear the songs that he wants, and then he will dance to them. It is so cute. So he is definitely all about cause and effect. The other thing that's a little bit new this month for us is that he has now started nesting toys. So if we give him a set of cups that nest into each other, he loves to put them inside of the other. He will take them apart and put them back, which is really cool. The other thing that he's doing in terms of play is just in general putting things back together, whereas before it was all about breaking things apart. And now he has started to he's at the very early stages of like stacking, for example. He will put one thing on top of another before he smashes it down again. He will take things out of a box and then put them all back in the box. And he has a lot of fun doing that. And it's not even necessarily actual toys. Like he will find something that he like knocks off of a table that is not necessarily a toy, but it was like a couple of small things in a little tin. He will grab it and then fascinating, look at things and then put them all back in the box and then take them out again and do it all over. So that's something that he's really enjoying doing right now. So pretty cool to see him learning just how the world works. It's amazing. Okay, I realized that I should add another category here that we talk about each month, and that's talking. So Weston is now sort of finally, in my opinion, saying mama, and I can definitely tell he means that it's for me. So, like we'll point to a picture of me and he will say mama, or, I will reach for him and he might say mama. So he's been saying mama for a while now. He definitely said dada much longer, but now I can tell that he actually means it's me, which is so cute. He is saying a few words, like repeating them after we say them, so we're trying very hard to describe things to him as, we're looking at them together, when we're reading books and pointing at pictures, like saying what it is that we're looking at out loud, and once in a while he will say what that word is or repeat it back to us. So he's starting to get very good at that. Also in terms of back to the food category and what he's eating, we are also trying to encourage him to ask for things by name. So for example, milk, when we have a cup of milk for him at dinner, for example, he will oftentimes just point to it and make kind of a grunting sound, but we are now saying milk, and then he will usually repeat it back to us. Not always, but sometimes he will repeat it back to us, and that's how we know, okay, you can have milk now. And we hand it to him. So that's what we're trying to do. Sometimes he gets frustrated and just starts crying and doesn't want anything to do with saying it because it's more difficult for him to say it. Also, he's not pronouncing milk properly. He says gulk. But we know what it means, and he definitely means it to be milk for sure, based on, just seeing him say it every day. So those are the kinds of things that we're working on. He says some things like doggy. He says our dog's name Pua. He started to say our other dog's name Roo. So there's a few things that he is saying, and it's very exciting for him to be building out his vocabulary. The last thing I want to talk about is kind of miscellaneous items that are going on right now with him developmentally. One of which I alluded to earlier, which is teething. He is cutting molars. I think he might be cutting all 4 of them, but it is slow. I know that it's all over the map in terms of what's normal. Some kids, it's like overnight, they have a brand new molar come through the gum. For Weston, so far that has not been the case, because he's been teething these molars. It's probably been a month. And we can tell because he's doing different things like putting his hand in his mouth, like he's clearly trying to reach back there, gnawing on things, pulling on his ear sometimes. So It's definitely painful for him, more so on some days than others, but it is definitely a slow process for him, the poor thing. And so that kind of brings, me back to what I was saying earlier, that we're trying to alleviate that pain or distract him from that pain however we can when it comes up. And so if it seems like it's unbearable, like he's just really fussy and you can tell that it's from teething, he's, constantly trying to like put his hands in his mouth and grab at his teeth or whatever, then if it's at nighttime or in the day, we might give him some Tylenol. And then other things that we'll do, I tried giving him a popsicle, so we just froze some orange juice. He seemed to like that because it could kind of reach in the back of his mouth, and he liked that. It was a little messy though, but it was fun for him. So that's going on. And then another kind of new thing for us is, it's like he's in the terrible twos already. All of a sudden he's screaming. Like, it's just as soon as he doesn't get something that he wants, for example, if he's pointing at something and he wants it and we don't give it to him, or we ask him to say the word instead of just pointing to it, and we don't give it to him right away, it's like an instant scream or cry. And sometimes the scream is pretty loud, like as if he's hurt. And he'll get frustrated if we have him like in a fenced-in area and he wants to go to the other side of the fence. He might just scream all of a sudden. So he has been a very happy baby so far his entire life. And now all of a sudden he is starting to throw kind of a little bit of a tantrum here and there. So I think it's kind of a small preview of what we're gonna get as we progress into toddlerhood. So I will keep you updated on all of that. It's sure to be an adventure, but most of the time you can tell that he's fine, because it's like as soon as you do something, even if it's just pick him up or whatever, like the screaming is instantly over. So it's not like he's screaming and in pain. You can tell he has a very distinctive I'm in pain cry. And it's more like one or two shrieks and then all of a sudden he's fine and just looks at you like nothing ever happened. So yay, welcome to toddlerhood. Oh, the last thing of course I need to mention is walking. So Weston is not walking right now, and we are not sure if that is, due to the fact that he's been out of daycare for a little while, so he's not seeing other kids walking around, but he is a fast crawler, so he definitely gets around very quickly. We're not at the point where we're concerned about him not walking just yet. He stands a lot. He will pull himself up onto anything and everything, even if it doesn't necessarily have like a shelf for him to grab. Like he will pull himself up onto flat surfaces, like if he's at the fridge or at a flat window, he will pull himself up to stand position and look wherever he needs to look. He can reach for things, so he's definitely well on his way. He just has not done very much of standing by himself without having anything there, and he has not really tried to walk very much, except he does do kind of the all fours crawl with his bum straight in the air, like his legs are straight. So we think that it's pretty close, and we actually just started him back at daycare, so hopefully seeing all the other kids walk around, I think he is literally the only kid in his class who is not walking, so maybe that'll light a little fire under him and he'll start walking. So that's what we have going on for our 13-month-old. I hope you found this helpful and maybe give you a little taste of what to expect if you have a baby who is going to be this age soon. And if you like this, please go ahead and give it a like. Please subscribe for more content each week, and I will see you in the next one.